teaching kids about generosity, it sometimes feels like, huh, how do you even begin?
It's true. It's definitely not as straightforward as some of those other things we try to, instill in our kids,
Hmm.
like teaching them their ABCs or 123s, generosity.
Right. It's a whole different ball game. It's way more nuanced,
It is. It is.
which is why I was so drawn to this guide we're diving into today, by the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It really spoke to me. It really focuses on those practical steps
Yeah.
because sometimes it feels so big and overwhelming, like how do you even cultivate generosity in a kid?
Right.
But one of the things I really loved was this whole idea of starting small. As busy parents, we can totally handle incorporating small acts of generosity.
Absolutely. And what's so interesting about that is it's not just about that immediate act, right? Like, oh, I'm just having my kid, give this one toy away. The research shows there's actually a concept called like graduated generosity,
Oh,
where
interesting.
those small acts are almost like building blocks.
Okay.
They're forming neural pathways that then make larger acts of giving feel so much more natural later on.
So it's like you're literally shaping their brains for generosity from those little moments.
Exactly. It's incredible.
Wow, that's amazing. And it makes you look at those everyday moments a little differently. Because they all become opportunities. I'm thinking about, I saw this in the grocery store the other day, this little boy, maybe 4 years old, and he was watching this older man, and the man was struggling to pick up something he dropped. And the little boy, without a word, just went over and helped him.
Oh, wow.
It was such a small act of kindness, but you just knew that he had seen that type of behavior modeled somewhere.
Exactly. And that's the key here. Kids are learning by watching us all the time. They're like sponges, right?
Yeah.
They're absorbing
Yeah.
these behaviors, and that's both good and bad.
But everything.
Everything we do. So, we talk about creating opportunities to give. And of course, volunteering, that's wonderful as they get older.
Right.
But even in our everyday lives, letting them see us embody
Yeah.
generosity, I think is huge.
Yeah, so it's almost like taking them along for the ride. Instead of just saying, hey, go be generous, it's like, let's do this together
Exactly.
and involve them in those moments. So instead of just saying, hey, go donate this toy, it's which toy do you think would bring another child the most joy?
Yes. Love that.
Taking that extra step.
And that ties into that idea too of like discussing the impact of giving,
Yeah.
right? And again, with kids, you have to meet them where they're at developmentally.
Right.
So for younger children, making it tangible. If they donate a can of food,
Yeah.
explaining that that's going to help another family put dinner on the table tonight.
Right. Making that real world connection.
Absolutely.
And, the other thing I thought was really important, and this really resonated with me, was the idea of praising the effort, not the outcome. Because it's so easy to focus on the result.
Oh, I know.
But celebrating, like you had a good heart, you had good intentions, even if the execution wasn't perfect.
Yes.
To me, that's huge.
It is. And it just encourages this genuine spirit of giving. It reinforces that, it's not about getting accolades or rewards for being generous. It's about that intrinsic satisfaction of making a difference.
It's so true. It's amazing how these, like, small shifts in our thinking can have such a big impact on how we approach this.
Right.
Starting small, leading by example, actively involving them in giving, explaining the impact in a way they understand, and then praising the effort. That feels so much more manageable than this big go forth and be generous kind of thing.
Yes. And I think the other thing to remember too is this is a journey, right? This isn't like a one and done, like, okay, I checked generosity off my list. As children mature, their understanding of the world deepens, and we have to be willing to kind of adapt our approaches as well.
Which leads us to something interesting to think about. As kids grow, how can we evolve our approach to teaching generosity to match kind of their expanding worldviews? Something to ponder.
That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.